The last episode, I rode solo for days, through rain, broken highways, Farakka barrage, hidden back roads like Botolbari, and finally climbed Rohini Road to reach Darjeeling. If you haven't seen that part yet, go check out episode 1 first. It tells the story of how I got here. After reaching Darjeeling, I fell asleep quicker than ever. Didn't even realize when my eyes was closed. My body just gave up after the long ride. When I finally woke up, it was late evening. My room felt magical. Dim lights, wooden walls, and through the window, I saw the Himalayas blinking back at me. Even though it was late and the rain was falling lightly, I couldn't stay inside. So I stepped out, jacket on, and walked slowly through the cold, sprinkling rain. After a short uphill walk, I reached the mall, the heart of Darjeeling. Its name is believed to come from Darjeeling, which means the land of the thunderbolt in Tibetan. Back in the 1800s, the British discovered this little hill station and turned it into their summer escape from the scorching plains. They built tea gardens, schools, and these very roads I am walking now. Even today, you can still hear different languages mixing here: Nepali, Hindi, Bengali, and bits of English from the travelers. That blend is part of what makes Darjeeling feel so alive. I stood there for a while, just breathing in the misty air, watching the old lamps glowing through the fog and imagining the history this place has. Then I headed back to my room. Wet boots off, jacket dripping by the door, ordered some food, warmed up under the soft lights, and called it a night. Day 1 in Darjeeling is done. Next morning, I woke up late, way past the time most people leave for Tiger Hill. I had this doubt in my head: maybe it's not worth it now. Maybe I should skip. But something inside me whispered, go. So I did. On the way, I passed by that famous hilltop temple, just standing there silent in the morning mist. Didn't even plan to stop, but it felt spiritual. Like the mountains themselves were blessing the ride. I thought I would miss the whole point of Tiger Hill, the sunrise over Kanchenjunga that everyone talks about. But when I reached, it was empty, completely empty. No crowds, no noise, just me, the cold wind, and the never-ending mist. I may have missed the sunrise and the Kanchenjunga, but what I got was something rarer. Total silence, just me and the clouds, and honestly, that felt even more special. Then I started riding back down towards Darjeeling town. On the way, I stopped at Khum Monastery, old, quiet prayer flag dancing in the cold breeze. Something about this place just calms you down, even if your head is still buzzing from the ride. Hunger kicked in hard, so I grabbed a plate of steaming momos and hot tea. Simple food, but nothing tastes better when you are this cold and tired. Back at the hotel, I lay down for a bit, but my wild heart wouldn't slow down. And with nightfall, the great cold came crawling in, straight to the bones. I couldn't help but remember that line from House Dark: "The winter is here." Still, I had to step out again, left Night Fury behind this time. She deserved her own rest. I made my way to Darjeeling railway station. and there I found India's legendary toy train, waiting, resting, preparing for tomorrow. This isn't just any train, it's the Darjeeling Himalayan Railway, built in the late 1800s by the British. A UNESCO World Heritage Site, these narrow gauge engines run on a 2-foot wide tracks. Winding through the hills with steep climbs and sharp curves, sometimes literally sharing the road with cars and bikes. Even today, a few of them still run on steam, real steam, no shortcuts, just that old school engineering still puffing to the clouds. I stood there for a while, just soaking it in, that mix of history, weather, altitude, and the quiet energy of this place. Eventually, I walked back in my room and called it a night. Second day in Darjeeling, gone. Just like that. And time, it doesn't wait. The mountains stand still, but your journey keeps moving. Next morning, I set off early, leaving behind the busy town and heading straight into the offbeat side of Darjeeling. Narrow broken roads winding through the misty hills and silent villages. Tough ride, but that's what makes the journey real. First came Tag the forest. Tall pines rising on both sides, damp earth under my wheels, and sudden patches of light breaking through the branches. The road felt alive, every bend a new view, every turn keeping me sharp and awake. Then I found my way to Barbote Bridge, hidden near Pubong, built more than a century ago during British rule. It once connected the tea gardens to the world beyond. Now it just stands quietly, worn by time. No tourists, no crowds, just me and the history you can almost hear if you stop and listen. I also dropped by Tag the Orchid Center, rows of delicate orchids blooming quietly against the mountain weather. A small reminder of how even in harsh places, beauty finds a way. On the way back, I slowed down at Peshok Tea Garden, endless green slopes, mist floating over the bushes, and the earthy scent of fresh tea carried by the breeze. Old forest road, forgotten bridges and hidden gardens. That's what today felt like. A side of Darjeeling most people miss, but one I will remember. After stopping at the tea garden, I rode back to the hotel. Dropped my gear but couldn't stay still. Climbed up to the rooftop instead. From up there, Darjeeling at nightfall felt unreal. Tiny warm lights scattered across the slopes, mist drifting slowly between them, and the mountains almost seemed alive. Later in the evening, a storm rolled in. Wind, rain, distant thunder echoing through the hills. And that's when it clicked why this place is called Darjeeling. Even storms here feel poetic. Morning light spilled over Kanchenjunga. The 5 treasures of snow, sacred, silent and eternal. Its peaks felt less like mountains, more like ancient gods watching over the hills. After that magical start, I headed down to Glenaries for breakfast. Sat out on the terrace, ordered the English breakfast. Bread, bacon, eggs and steaming tea. The place felt timeless, wooden beams, glass windows and photographs. Service absolutely solid. Next, it was time for some peace of mind. Crawled up to Mahakal Mandir, a hilltop temple where the scent of incense stick mixed with the cold breeze. Prayer flags fluttering above, bells chiming softly even if you are not deeply religious. Places like this give you something you can put into words. And then I visited Peace Pagoda, built in the late 20th century by the Japanese monks from the Nippozan Myoji order, as a symbol of unity and peace. White dome, golden Buddha statue carved along the walls, all standing silent against the mountain sky. I did not stop there though. I followed the small trails behind the pagoda, through the mossy stones and quiet trees. Just me, the crunch of gravel, and the sound of the wind. That evening, I spent my time buying mementos of Darjeeling for my loved ones. I hope those priceless pieces of little gifts will bring big smiles. By nightfall, another day in Darjeeling slipped away. But every turn, every hidden spot makes it feel special, like the town still has secrets left to show. My weekend trip ends today. One last walk through the mall wrapped in mist and memories. The prayer flag barely moved. The old benches felt almost familiar now. It wasn't just a road or a viewpoint anymore. It felt like saying goodbye to a friend. Then I rode down to Jalapahad cantonment to meet an old army friend. Couldn't film, some things belong only in memory. A quiet salute, a few words, a smile, then back on the road. The descent was sharp, almost unforgiving. Wet corners, blind bends, and the kind that make you grip the brakes harder, and your heart beats faster. It felt like the hills reminding me, don't forget us so easily. From there, I took the Mirik road. At Shimana viewpoint, the mountains stood watchful, and the border felt like nothing but a painted idea on a living canvas. Then I reached Mirik Lake, silent, still, almost glass-like under the blue sky. The smell of pine, the quiet water, the distant echo of prayer bells. It felt like the last blessing of the hills. Looking back, this ride wasn't just about reaching Darjeeling or ticking places off a map. Somewhere between the broken offbeat roads, the silent morning on misty hills, and the empty viewpoints where it was just me and the wind, I ended up meeting parts of myself I had ignored for years. Before the trip, it was always about speed, schedules, the next destination. But here, the mountain taught me to slow down, to breathe in the cold air, taste the rain on my lips, and stand still long enough to watch the clouds change shape. The silent evening at the mall, the quiet blessing at Mahakal Mandir, the laughter over hot tea, and the empty roads of Takda, they all chipped away at my rush, my restlessness. Now I know it isn't just about where you go, it's about how you look around when you get there. About letting the road teach you patience, the mist teach you humility, and the cold teach you gratitude. I left home chasing the mountains, but somewhere on those steep climbs and empty bends, I found a calmer, softer, and strangely stronger version of myself. And maybe that's why we ride. Not just to see the world, but to come back a little different than when we left.